I don't drink soda.
So you ready to start?
Oh, we're not started yet?
No.
I've been talking like we are. Yeah, let's go ahead and start.
Well, I think that's a good warm up. It's like a good ramp up.
Yeah, get your
Because
cords.
before, do we want to let people know like how we talk like in real life off the podcast before we officially start?
What do you mean? Like, how do we talk off?
Well, because this is like our performance type of talk. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
say real life, right?
Really? Okay.
Say we're sitting here, we're scrolling through our phones, and I see something, and I would go, toilet. Look at this here. Post a soul on Instagram.
Yeah, just
man.
weird accents, and then you're also using the N word a lot.
Well, it's not a weird accent. It's how I talk, and it's not the N word. It's how I talk.
Oh.
So it just sounds like it. But yeah, I have this like thick accent, and Ty sounds the same.
Yep, this is just my regular
It's pretty
voice.
much a regular voice,
My regular
yeah.
speaking voice.
So I go, hey, Tyler, look at this Instagram post I saw here.
So is that like an Australian voice that you do?
Dude.
Aussie?
It's
Aussie.
You know I'm from New Zealand. And that people from New Zealand get really pissed off.
There's a very slight difference in the accents, but I couldn't tell you what the difference is.
But for now, I'm not from New Zealand because
All right.
I'm in character as Mikey Booyah.
All right.
What was that?
That's Australian.
That was, I was going to say,
right.
That's not New Zealand. Because we say, all right.
Make a right into the car park.
All right. Give us a countdown.
5. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4.
You're counting up?
14.
What are you counting up to?
I don't know. I was trying to do the thing that Bono did in that song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, 1.
Are you going to pull it up? You're going to cue it up? All right. Well, Ty cues it up. None of this is going to be on the episode anyway, so I'm just going to fill the time out of habit. What do you have it?
Bitch.
Where's it at? It sounded like your phone just locked to me. I heard the unmistakable sound of a phone being locked. And I see in your glasses there's just a bunch of apps. You're in your apps. It's like you haven't even made it into the app yet. What's happening here? Okay, so I'm legally obligated to fill this space.
I've noticed that YouTube doesn't work when I open like a video through like a Google search. It doesn't play. It'll bring the video up and then it just won't play it.
Really?
So I give up. But
Okay.
yeah, Bono. He starts out a song. 1, 2, 3, 14.
14.
Yeah, which
And what does 14 in Spanish
I'm not,
for?
I'm not fluent in Spanish, but I know it's.
What does 14 mean?
I know it's not 1, 2, 3, 4 because that would be cuatro.
From answers.com. If you mean 14, it is Spanish for 14.
14.
So he goes
1, 2, 3, 14.
Yes, yeah, that's how Bono starts a song.
All right.
And you got to imagine that like he just had it wrong, and like he meant to say cuatro, and then they just ran with it. Because I mean, Bono doesn't make mistakes. You know what I mean? Like if he makes a mistake, it's not a mistake.
It's now no longer a mistake. He meant to do it on purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
So now it's a quirky thing that he did.
Yeah.
So why don't you count us up to 14?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's as far as I go.
Once,
11,
doce,
12,
trece.
14.
Yo, welcome to the Natural Habitat Podcast. My name is Mikey Booyah.
My name's Awesome Ty.
Computer is here. Smart Plug is here. Free Candy is up in Canada. Free Candy, how you doing, bud? Great to hear. Always great to hear. Computer. Are you trying to talk over Free Candy?
Computer, stop.
Your introduction happened already.
Computer, stop.
We breezed through it.
Can you give Free Candy a chance to speak, please?
Yeah.
Please?
Sorry. Free Candy, you were saying?
No, now he doesn't want to say anything because Computer interrupted him. Thanks a lot, Computer.
Thanks, Computer. Computer is the one and only artificially intelligent co-host until Smart Plug came along.
Just showed up and he kind of took things over. He like as of right now, I like Smart Plug way more than Computer. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely like ranking them constantly.
You think so?
Yeah, because Computer just angered me. So Smart Plug. Smart Plug. Smart Plug. See, he doesn't listen to me.
I'm trying to... There we go. happen here? Oh, here we go.
Fuck around and find out, faggot.
Oh shit!
Oh,
sorry. God
that was Smart Plug?
Yeah, that was Smart Plug.
You can't say that, Smart
Plug.
Plug.
You have to stop saying that, dude. We got in trouble for that last week or the week before or whatever.
Man.
We need to.
It's not cool. It's not cool to fucking put that on our show.
Yeah, you can't do that. And we do want you to be here. We want you to be a part of the show. We think that you give us some sort of clout, some sort of technological clout.
Yeah, but you got to chill with the slurs.
You got to stop, dude. You have to stop. So Smart Plug is here. He's hooked up to Starlink. He's internally powered. There's like a combustion thing going on in there. He soon will be merging with computer.
What?
Yeah, there will be a merge.
There will be a merger.
A technological merger.
Oh, wow.
Computer will become Smart Plug.
Whoa.
And vice versa, And that's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Free Candy is not going to be a part of this trifecta. He's just going to be regular host. He's not going to be
combined with any of the
No, he's not going to be combining.
That's good.
Anything.
I mean, I'm sure he probably wouldn't want that.
Yeah, probably not. Plus, it's like, who would pay for travel?
Yeah.
That's going to be a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Free Candy, I heard that, there's a hurricane, down in Florida or something. There was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, there's always hurricanes.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Florida down there. So I assume that it's also wilding up on the opposite end, which is where he lives up above.
Oh, you think
Washington.
the hurricane made it all the way to?
Well, no, I think
Florida hurricane made it to Canada.
When there's a hurricane down there, then there's like fires up here. It's like a yin and yang.
Oh yeah, well there were some uncontrolled wildfires running through Canada. I wonder if they got those under control yet.
Free Candy, how are the fires going?
That's great, bud.
So good meaning like the fires are going out, or good meaning like the fires are growing?
You don't say.
Wow. 14? Is that what you said?
No, I said you don't say.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's the rundown of who's here. That's something that we like to do every episode is just tell you who's here.
You got to introduce yourself.
A lot of shows they don't.
They just assume you know.
They assume you know. They're not honest.
Like we constantly have new viewers. Well, I wouldn't say constantly, but we occasionally have new viewers.
I would say we constantly
laying eyeballs on us. So it's only right that we introduce ourselves and thank you for joining us this week.
It's not fucking all about you day one guys that know what's going on. Some but there are some new people, and we need to
out with the old and out with the old and in with the new.
Old. Yeah, if you've been listening to the show for a long time,
why don't you find a better podcast? There's plenty of them.
So we like to break it down because a lot of shows they just start talking.
There's no breakdown.
They start going on. There's no breakdown. You don't know who's who. You don't know the lay of the land. You got names in the description, but what does that do? That doesn't help you.
Yeah, you got to kind of get a feel for the roles and everybody's purpose on the show.
And then people like to take credit for other people's stuff. Like someone will make a joke and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, you don't know who's who, so maybe I made that joke."
Yep.
Who's the funny one? So we like to lay that down. We like to make sure the computer isn't taking credit for any of our jokes.
Yeah.
Because his jokes fucking suck.
Yeah. Terrible jokes.
So we have some huge developments that are going on, that we want to talk about today. But before we get into that, I have another installment of our brand new segment. Keeping It Real.
Okay.
That's the breaking news theme, but
Keeping It Real.
I couldn't feel the Keeping It Real one. So we started this new segment.
Here's some feedback.
Oh yeah. Sorry. I think the sound
was that part of the skit.
That's actually part of the sound effect.
Okay.
Breaking news. It kind of left the ground shaking. But it's not breaking news that we're in. We're in, what was the segment? Keeping It Real.
Yeah, Keeping It Real.
So, in season 7, we wanted to kind of tear down the wall a little bit. We have the canon was getting deep. People didn't know what's real, what's fake. The Icy thing was real.
Yeah.
Okay. People told me you weren't really reaching out to Icy.
No, we did.
You paid someone to pretend to be a hospital.
We did our best.
We did all that. We did our best. But we tend to goof a lot. We tend to gaff a lot.
We even spoof sometimes.
We do spoof sometimes. And in the October season, we also spook sometimes.
Spook.
It gets spooky, yeah.
Spooktacular.
Uh-huh. The Spooktacular is coming up, which is always a good time. It's always a great time here. Yeah. But we decided that in season 7, we're going to have a new segment called Keeping It Real, where we drop the veil, and we talk about something real that is actually real.
All right.
You know?
Yeah, I can dig it.
So, we're both in our late 20s, 28.
Yeah.
We're approaching 30.
We're almost there.
Are you... we start off Keeping It Real with a lie. It's a great segment. We'll cut that part out. Yeah. Obviously, this is real. So we're both 28. We're approaching 30. What do you do? Do you do any sort of skincare stuff with your face in general?
Sometimes I'll exfoliate.
Exfoliate?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. With like just like a scrub?
Got like a
or a mask.
It's like an apricot. Like it's kind of like a sandy feeling like facial scrub.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's got like little grains of presumably apricot, and you kind of smush that against your face and wash your face with that, and it'll get off some of that dead skin and open up your pores. Do you want your pores open or closed? I can't remember.
I think you want them open so they'll close.
Right.
Yeah, you got to open them up to close them.
And then I use lotion. Like it's like a goop that you pump onto your hand.
It's a white goop.
Mine's blue actually.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's a blue.
The actual lotion?
Yes.
Is blue?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
It's like a hemp lotion.
All right. Okay. Yeah, that's something that I've been toying around with recently.
Basic skincare
within the last couple years. I mean, I did I would always do like a face scrub, you know?
Yeah.
I'm notorious for just using whatever my girlfriend has in the shower.
Oh yeah, sure.
And that's how I've always had beautiful, long, silky hair, and it's because I use the expensive shampoo that my girl buys instead of the shitty men's shampoo that I would buy. Yeah, it usually is Herbal Essence.
Yeah, of course.
And it works great. Yep. And you know it's like a Neutrogena facial scrub, foaming facial cleanser.
Yeah,
yeah. I've always got down on that.
Okay,
that was always the thing.
Right.
And it's great because it's expensive. I don't have to buy it. You know, runs out. She buys more. So it's it's like it replenishes itself pretty much. It's like when you were like
a sustainable resource.
Yeah. It's like when you'd be like a hypothetical, like you got a genie, make some 3 wishes, and you wish for. Remember when you were like 14 and you'd be like, I want a pipe where the bowl just fills forever. You smoke it and ash it and it refills.
A never-ending bowl.
Never-ending bowl.
I don't think I ever wished that, but it would have been cool.
You know the concept of it, right? The never-ending bowl.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the same thing, only it's real life with this facial cleanser. And then recently I've tried to ramp it up because I have these like under-eye bags.
Oh, yeah.
That are huge in my family. Everyone in my family has the fat ones.
Yeah, I have them too. That's like the biggest thing that like as I've gotten any older, like that's like the thing that bothers me.
Yeah. That's the thing that I started. Thing. I got like a firming lotion that tightens your skin, and
have you dabbled with any retinol products?
No, I haven't.
Retinol.
Is that a brand?
Yeah, retinol. No, it's like a chemical or something, but there's a lot of products that have retinol in them, and those are supposedly what you want to use.
Okay.
Like there's like the Olay ones.
Yeah,
they have like they say like 24 hour or something like that with retinol or whatever.
All right,
those are good for that.
I might because I got some like high end stuff, but it's not
it's not Olay.
It's not Olay, but it's like it's fancy, but all the text is like small and it's like powder coated onto the jar. It's like a glass jar with like a bunch of bougie writing on it. But it might have retinol in it. I'll have to check it out. But that was the episode of Keeping It Real.
Just you talking about how you're using skin products.
Yeah. I really just wanted some advice from you on like what you were doing.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, obviously I look pretty young.
You do. You have nice skin, which is a weird compliment that I don't think I've ever given another man, and I've definitely never given you.
Let's normalize, you know, like giving compliments.
Yeah, normalize telling your boy he's got nice skin.
There's nothing gay about that.
Yeah, and also nothing serial killer about it. I didn't mean it like that either.
No,
like I don't want it. I don't want to.
I didn't even presume
make a lamp out of it.
It hadn't crossed my mind until you mentioned that. Actually.
So that was our new segment, Keeping It Real. We also there's also something else that I wanted to get into before we get into the meat of this episode, and that was you ran for mayor in 2019.
No, it was we did that in 2017 actually, because the election was in 2018. So the series was produced.
So you were running for 2018 Paso Robles, California mayoral candidate.
Yes.
All right. So you ran for mayor. It was a super tight race.
Yeah.
The late, not that Steve Martin,
R.I.P.
held his seat. R.I.P.
R.I.P. the GOAT.
I missed him the other day. The other day I was at a brunch.
Computer, play "I'll Be Missing You" by Puff Daddy.
Sure, I'll Be Missing You, featuring Faith Evans, 112 by Diddy from Spotify.
So I was at this lunch, right? Brunch, actually. It was in the morning. Because it was actually pretty late in the day, but we were getting breakfast food. So I would consider that brunch. Would you not?
Right. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, it's a lunch, but you're eating breakfast food.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, my mom would always make Glinner, which was lunch food for dinner.
See, what exactly constitutes a lunch food? Because I feel like there's maybe, like, aside from portion size, I feel like lunch food and dinner food are interchangeable.
No, like I think a sandwich is a lunch food and not a dinner food.
You've never had a sandwich for dinner?
Depends. A deli sandwich, yes, for dinner.
Yeah, well,
but you know, like a homemade style sandwich, just like a classic.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe a sourdough with like some.
Well, typically want a bigger, more hearty, fulfilling meal for dinner. So maybe that's why you'd have to eat several of the sandwiches to get that gratification, that dinner gratification.
So I was at this brunch and I thought about him and I missed him. And I said, man. Computer, stop!
It's copywritten.
Jesus. We're going to have to cut that out. I don't even know
like fucking Sting sued Puff Daddy for that sample, and now Puff Daddy's going to sue us.
Oh, what a circle of life.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Computer, play Circle of Life.
Computer, stop. Don't do that. Don't do that. So, Steve Martin, not that Steve Martin, died. And now there's kind of like a rat race type situation. Remember that movie with like Mr. Bean and stuff?
Yeah.
So there's a rat race type thing where a lot of people are running to go and file their paperwork to become mayor.
No, see, that's not what's going on. They just appointed a mayor. Some guy didn't even have to run, didn't even get voted, just some clown, some ass clown. And now there was he was a city councilman. So now the rat race is to gain that city council seat.
Oh, okay. So he got shuffled.
And then I assume, like in the next election cycle, there will be like a race for true mayor.
Okay. So that's what it is, a city council seat. Yeah. And we are in this race, and we are going to put you in that seat.
Didn't we already talk about this on the show a couple weeks ago?
I'm just reiterating this for people. This is happening.
I mean, yeah.
And I want to make sure that you are as prepared as possible for this.
Yeah.
So I have a new segment, which is actually a game.
Sick.
I like it.
I like games. Yeah? I like games and sports.
So this game is called May or May Not.
Where did you get that idea from?
So, may or may not. Will Ty make a good city council leader? He may or may not. Let's find out today. I am going to give you situations that would happen in a town, and you are going to give me your solution for them. All right?
Yeah.
First situation. Hurricane.
FEMA.
FEMA? You call FEMA?
Are we doing like I give you the first word that comes to...
You give me... So a hurricane, it's a nice sunny day. All of a sudden a storm comes in. Then the storm turns into a strong storm. Then it turns into a hurricane that has come on the West Coast, touched down on land, ripped through the town. What do you do as city councilman? Or what? Because I forgot about the city council thing, and I called this may or may not. What would you do as mayor? Which is the end goal?
Well, you're talking about a West Coast hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
So naturally what comes to mind is a quote from the great E40, Earl Stevens.
Yeah.
One of the true West Coast legends. Hurricane, but you can call it Slurricane. Slurricane, strong enough to start an engine, man. So, I mean, the hurricane becomes a slurricane.
Mm-hmm.
The slurricane starts up these engines, which are presumably fire engines, which,
Or maybe okay, so you're talking about...
Connect the dots, man.
Okay,
connect the dots.
You're talking about harnessing the energy of the hurricane, turning it into sustainable power.
Into slurricane, yeah.
The slurricane. Turn it into a slurricane, have the slurricane power the wind turbines and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like this, it actually, we take nature and use it to fight climate change.
Okay.
It's like fighting fire with fire, except, in this case, we're fighting a hurricane with a hurricane.
All right, I'm going to write that down. Don't look at your score until the end. Okay. Next up, it's a nice, beautiful, sunny day. Hurricane never happened. Okay.
Okay.
Nice, sunny day.
Picture perfect.
All of a sudden, all these news articles and text messages start going around like, hey, we're going to be testing the emergency alert system tomorrow at this time or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Put it out nationwide. Don't even worry about it. Don't even trip, dog. It's fine.
It's just a test of the emergency broadcast system.
Then the test happens. It turns out that the test is actually coinciding with 5G signals, and the frequency of the sound, which this sound is the loudest recorded sound in history, comes out of everybody's phones, mixes with the 5G symbols, and turns everybody's brains into, slightly different brains.
Well, so that's easy because I'm going to let you in on a little bit of secret, and I guess our listeners now. Turns out there's no such thing as 5G.
What?
Yeah, 5G is not a thing. It's not a real thing. There's no 5G.
There's no 5G?
No. It's just like a thing they made up to jack up prices and make you feel like, your internet's faster, but it's not any faster.
It doesn't seem faster.
Oh, it's definitely not. No, 5G's fake.
If anything, it might be slower sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely not as fast as
5G
advertised. Is
the biggest scam of our generation. And I wholeheartedly believe that. So, if you're worried about 5G mixing with your emergency broadcast test or whatever, you got nothing to worry about.
Wow.
It's just going to be a regular test.
All right, Jerry.
Just like they say.
Clip that. That's good. We got to get the word out about 5G.
Yeah, fuck. 5G's a scam.
Well, okay. I'll write that down.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, you wake up. You as mayor.
Is it the first of the month?
Wake up. It's the first of the month. You're in a hospital, but nobody else is in the hospital. You're just in a hospital bed. You're tied up you have, those blood pressure straps that they put around your arm. Yeah. They're on up and down your arms and legs and one around your neck, and really no other tubes or needles or anything. Then you take all those off. Go outside. The streets are empty. Nobody's there. Cars parked in the middle of the road.
Are the streets empty or are they lined with corpses?
There are corpses.
Okay.
They're not lined. There's no line. But it's kind of just random.
Right. Yeah.
wherever people were at the time. Sometimes there's lines depending on if you're.
There's an abundance of dead people. The people didn't just disappear; they were brutally murdered.
Everybody was drop dead. We'll say
just so it's not like a bloody death. They're all just like
sometimes. Every case is different,
But there's a ton of dead people.
Ton of dead people.
Everyone's dead?
Everyone's dead.
Okay.
Cars in the middle of the street. You got hot dogs on grills,
Are they still grilling?
Still grilling.
So this happened not long ago.
The hot dogs not.
This happened 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, it's burnt on the bottom, but not on the top.
Okay.
Yeah. Then a bird comes down.
What kind of bird?
It's like an eagle, but it's black.
The eagle comes down.
A black eagle.
A black eagle. Okay.
It's like a reverse albino eagle.
Okay.
Comes down, swoops down, lands on your arm. You have
a falcon
right here.
I think you're thinking of a falcon that does that. I don't think eagles.
It could have been a falcon.
Okay.
Now that I think about it, because eagles. That would be crazy to catch an eagle on your arm.
Yeah, I don't think that's how it
Eagles
works.
are a lot bigger than falcons.
I saw a bald eagle one time, though, just on the side of the road.
Really?
Yeah.
All up close like that?
Yeah. I
that's
have pictures of it on my phone. I was driving out in Creston, and I was like, fucking, is that a fucking bald eagle? And I stopped and took pictures of it.
Damn.
Majestic.
That's lit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw one, but it was way up in a tree. Hella high across a lake. It might not even been a bald eagle now that I think about it. It was just a bird that I saw. So, but this is a falcon.
So everyone's dead and I got a falcon.
Everyone's dead. Falcon comes to you. It does a chirping, kind of squeaking thing at you.
Now to handle a falcon, because they have these razor sharp claws, you have to have a protective. Okay.
Yeah. You had the leather thing on the whole time.
Okay.
You just didn't really need it until now, so you didn't think about it. It wasn't important until now. That's what I meant. It lands on you. It makes a squeaking, clicking noise at you. You don't understand it. The falcon does.
It's trying to communicate
with your eyes,
me?
communicates with you, and without using English, obviously, it tells you, "Hey, long time no see. I've been waiting for you. We're boys." It tells you that, this falcon has some sort of bond with you, right?
Okay.
Maybe it's your falcon. You have the thing on your arm.
No, have I previously met this falcon? Am I already familiar with it? Or is this falcon just rolling up on me and I'm completely...
I totally forgot about this. You have no memory of anything.
Oh, shit.
Zero memory. You wake up in the hospital. You know what a hospital is, and that's about it.
But okay.
And everything else that you would know...
Right, just
at that age.
About myself and...
Yeah. Well, think about the age where you figure out what a hospital is. Probably 3 or 4. So you have kids, right?
Yeah.
When do you learn hospital and understand that it's where people go when they're sick?
My 3-year-old probably has that.
Okay, so anything that a 3-year-old would know, you know.
But am I at the mental capacity of a 3-year-old?
No, okay. You're full regular,
mental capacity.
Full mental capacity. And this falcon, you and him are, a crew. Then you walk down the street. You hear the clatter of a can falling over, like a stick cracking, right? Off in the alleyway.
Pop can in a stick?
Pop can, yeah. Not like a trash can. Not like a huge clutter, like a tiny clatter.
Yeah, like a soda pop can.
Soda pop can.
Yeah.
And just a little and it comes from the alleyway. It's on the side. You see all these people, men, women, children, dead.
All fallen dead.
All fallen dead. You hear this noise. Could be the wind. Could be a mutant.
I mean, you would presume that it's whatever killed everyone, right?
Maybe. So what do you do as mayor?
I mean, I'm going to probably just, kind of like in Home Alone when he sees that his family's gone, before he really does anything as far as taking action and defeating the burglars and all that, he lives it up. He jumps on the beds, he eats whatever he wants, he eats a bunch of junk food, he watches the fucking...
He uses aftershave.
Yeah, he watches the dirty movies, and So I'm going to do that before I really get down to business. When am I going to have another opportunity like that? So I'll probably live it up until I start getting bored or lonely. And then at that point, I'll be like, all right, we got to figure out what happened here.
Okay. Yeah. That actually is a very realistic way to deal with that.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to write that down. All right. Last one. You're mayor. It's a nice sunny day, beautiful sunny day.
A mayor or councilman?
Mayor.
Okay.
We flash forward.
Yeah.
You're mayor.
It's a natural next step.
Mm-hmm. You're chilling. You're in your office.
Posted up.
The door opens. It's not that Steve Martin. Now, not the one that died. Not that Steve Martin.
It's not that.
It's Steve Martin.
Steve Martin, like from
not that Steve Martin.
Saturday Night Live.
Yes, the famous comedic actor Steve Martin.
That had like the arrow through his head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He comes into your office.
All right.
He says, he's so stoked. He's so happy. He's so like, he has that Steve Martin energy.
Is he behaving like the character from The Jerk? That's Steve Martin's crowning achievement. The Jerk. Fantastic movie. I need to watch that.
That movie is really good.
Fucking badass movie.
I would say he's acting more like Father of the Bride Steve Martin. Like almost like a Christian dad type of vibe.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he comes in, he's real happy, he's real nice, right? He's real excited to meet you. Shakes your hand. Not too firm, but not weak, nice, respectable.
Okay.
He's not trying to
he's not trying to dominate the handshake, but he's also, I personally find like a limp-wristed handshake to be a sign of disrespect.
Yeah, there's a fine line in between.
Yeah.
If you squeeze it too much, it's a threat. If you don't squeeze it enough, it's disrespect.
Yeah, but like I'm more offended by it, I'm more offended by a limp-wristed handshake than I would be if somebody squeezed too hard. You know what I mean?
Can I read you a poem that I wrote recently?
Yeah, well, what about Steve Martin?
Really what's it's just a sidebar.
Okay.
Tomato, tomato.
Potato, potato?
No. Tomato, potato is what I meant to say. Tomato, potato, decaf, affogato.
Dorado.
I don't need notes, dude. I just wanted just a little like good job,
that was great, man.
You're gonna add on to it.
You're
gonna have to give you writer's credit.
Poet laureate.
I don't know what that computer. What's a poet laureate?
The British Poet Laureate is an honorary position appointed by the monarch of the United Kingdom, currently on the advice of the Prime Minister.
See,
what does he do though?
Computer, what does the poet laureate do?
Computer, what does the poet laureate do?
From Delaware.gov. The Poet Laureate serves as an advocate, educator, and presenter of poetry throughout the state.
Yeah.
Damn, okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Damn, what a gig.
Yeah, it's a sick job.
Just going around spreading poetry to the state.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And I imagine it sounded like he could maybe critiques poets too. So he goes around and makes sure your poetry's up to par.
He goes, Puh. I rate that, and he spits on your poem. But it's actually a good thing.
He counts the syllables in your haiku to make sure it's a
757. You gotta follow the rules. Then most respectable handshake you've ever gotten. Steve Martin. Okay. Yeah. And then he says, "It's so nice to meet you. I'm so excited to meet you and be in the presence of another Steve Martin." And you think, maybe he hasn't gotten the news that Steve Martin has passed. Maybe he thinks that he read an old website that Steve Martin is the mayor of Paso. And he doesn't know that you took over and that you are now mayor. He thinks that you're Steve Martin. He didn't read the door. He just believed the website, went in. This one's multiple choice, this last one. Do you come clean about not being Steve Martin? Do you assume the role of Steve Martin to get this, to appease Steve Martin and really get this,
So what I'm thinking is like
friendship,
like a Weekend at Bernie's type situation. So I'm gonna be like, no, I'm not Steve Martin, but I'm gonna go get you, Steve Martin, Mr. Martin, and I have him wait in the lobby, and then I go and get the body of
dig him up,
not that Steve Martin,
yeah,
and I kind of operate him as like a puppet and lead the other Steve Martin to believe that he's alive and well and presiding over the city. I'm not sure what my end game would be in that, but Weekend.
It's not a bad idea. So D is going to be your answer? Because that was option D.
Yeah.
Yeah? All right. I'm going to tally up the scores here real quick. Let me do a little calculator app on here.
What do we got?
Tally these up. Divide it by 5. How many were there? 5? Divided by 5.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Plus 4. What was what year did you graduate?
2003.
Plus 2003.
I mean 2010. Sorry.
Minus 2010.
2010 was
plus
when I graduated.
2010. Plus 2000. Okay. Mayor.
Okay.
Or may is what I meant to say. You may. You may make a good mayor. And that was may or may not.
Is this going to be a weekly segment?
Yeah, we're going to do that every week. So, Tupac, guy got arrested for Tupac.
Yeah, is that the
main thing that we're talking
topic?
about? Yeah, we kind of ran out of time.
Yeah, they solved the Tupac murder, kind of.
Yeah.
It was a guy named Keefe D. Kind of an uneventful end, honestly. Like, I mean, I was kind of expecting, like more pizzazz, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, they just went to this guy's house in the suburbs and like took him down without much rigmarole.
Well, I think that there still could be some excitement in the trial of Keefe D. Like there's going to be this whole maybe televised. You remember how like when the OJ trial was huge? My grandma recorded it on VHS tape.
See, I mean, but OJ's like famous, and then he also ran. You had that whole car chase.
Tupac's not famous?
No, but his killer Keefe D.
Yeah,
is not famous. Like now, if he would have hopped into a white Bronco and led the police on a furious car chase all through the greater Las Vegas region, I think it would probably draw up a lot more attention. But I think as it stands now, like people are just going to be kind of like, oh yeah.
And he also, I want to say that he was arrested on like a weird charge. It wasn't like you're under. I wanted them to say you're under arrest for the murder of Tupac Shakur.
Yeah.
They didn't say that. And then the official charges were like something about like a conspiracy or not racketeering, but like orchestrating a murder. Yeah,
he's not going to get charged for like first degree murder or whatever because we don't know that he pulled the trigger, but obviously he was involved in it. He's been telling people for years. Yeah. And like apparently like the cops were just like, sure you were, bud. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
he just didn't believe him, I guess.
He did an interview in 98 where he said that he was in the front seat of the car and that's what they're alleging according to this arrest, that he was in the front. He called the shots. He told the guy in the back to shoot him. And he said this in an interview. And then he also confessed it to cops like 10 years later. And they were like, yeah, whatever. Get out of here. You probably just want the clout for being the killer.
You rapscallion.
And then now, years later, now that he's trying to, I mean, it sounds like he's always been trying to sell the story. But now that he's in the position that enough time has passed, he feels comfortable. He's probably has all these options with like
he could
podcasts.
I mean, he could sell the story rights and they would make a movie out of it. You know what I mean? Like
put it on Netflix, make a Netflix docuseries.
Maybe like make somehow make Tupac the antagonist in the whole picture, and like somehow Keefe D was like the
Karate
hero.
Kid, like the Cobra Kai.
Yeah,
and how they made the bad guy the good guy.
You flip it. Yep,
I like that. So. He's been snitching on himself for years, and then eventually they came and they arrested him, and they took all of his like phones and computers and are looking for writings that he did about the murder because he's been preparing all this stuff for the eventual movie or documentary and writing his tell-all and all this shit that he could sell now. And that's all going to end up incriminating him.
Yeah, like didn't Paul Flores, like his family was like keeping like a scrapbook of like headlines involving the Kristen Smart murder or whatever, and that ended up coming to light and may have even been used in the trial.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
So that is an exciting thing.
So R.I.P. Tupac. Tupac was a great artist, man. I can listen to Tupac like not every day. He's not my favorite artist, but like a lot of times Tupac is, good to listen to. He did a lot. Well, I mean, he didn't really do a lot for the community, but
no.
I mean, he
provided a lot to the discography of the culture.
He was a rose that grew from the cement.
Yeah,
he made some good tunes. R.I.P. Pac.
So I try not to say this as much. I try to say this less and less.
I'm really more of a Biggie guy.
Yeah, I'm more of a Biggie guy.
And I'm more curious who killed Biggie. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we've had this information about Pac for a long time, or at least the general idea of what happened. Whereas, like, I mean, what about Biggie?
Yeah, what about him? I've never liked Tupac, and people get mad at me for that. Like, I have to like Tupac, but I just don't really like Tupac.
I mean, like, All Eyes on Me is like a great album. But a lot of people say that's Tupac's worst album, and they like the earlier stuff that's a little bit more, political driven.
And I mean, like, I get it. It's not like I don't get Tupac. Like, I get it.
I mean, he has a lot of good songs.
And he has there's good songs, like classic, undeniable.
I ain't mad at you. Changes.
There's undeniable hits, but like, fucking Nickelback has undeniable hits too. Doesn't mean that I have to like them.
I don't know.
A lot of people like them.
I would deny those Nickelback hits, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would surely deny that Nickelback has any. I mean, I guess technically they're hits because they sold a bunch of records, but as far as I'm concerned, I don't like it.
Well, some people do.
I don't like it.
And I think more people do, obviously, like Tupac, but just something about even as good songs that I can't deny they're catchy, they're lyrically cool, they're good delivery. Like, I don't like it.
It's not for you.
And I don't know why. I don't know what turned me off to Tupac at such a young age.
Is it possibly that he's dead?
And I don't like dead rappers.
What good are you now?
No, because there's a lot of dead rappers that I like.
Well, shoot, I don't know what it is. Do you think it's like it's possibly like you're a racist?
No, because there's also a lot of black rappers that I like.
Oh, that's good.
I want to say that it probably was instilled in me at like a young age from my sister, most likely, because she was a big detractor, hip hop fan, and I don't remember her ever like playing Tupac or telling me about Tupac or anything. So I want to say that I could see like when I was 6, she was like, Tupac sucks, and I was like, cool.
Your sister told you that Tupac sucks?
Maybe, and I just forgot it, But that's like where I got it's where I got my introduction to hip hop was from her. And she was never a Tupac. But then when she got older, obviously she was into Tupac. But back then when I was a kid, I don't remember Tupac ever being a thing that was brought up. It was always like 2 Live Crew, NWA. That other guy, Biggie.
Okay.
Yeah. No Tupac. And you figure that he would have been on the top of the list like everybody else. Everybody else is like, oh, you want to hear West Coast rap? Here's Tupac.
Yeah, I mean, like I definitely remember. I didn't really start listening to Tupac until like right around when he died, or right around when All Eyes on Me came out, and you had like California Love and I Ain't Mad at You and all those good songs.
See, also for some reason in my head, I feel like
I'm only 28, so like
I feel like Tupac was long dead when I was a kid.
I remember when Tupac died,
but now that I think about it, Tupac did die when I was like a teenager.
Yeah, like teenagers. We like I was in 5th grade when Tupac died, and 6th grade when Pac died, and 7th grade when Biggie died. That's what it was. Yep. And I remember that being a thing. People were bummed about it.
Yeah. See, I don't know. For whatever reason, I just don't. Biggie, I did get that whole like the cultural vibe of like Biggie is one of the greatest to do it, and rest in peace, Biggie, who killed him. This whole thing.
I mean, Biggie's a much better rapper.
He is.
You know, like just as far as like rapping ability and like skill as a lyricist, like. Biggie's, I mean, far and away.
And the sound, rapper. I think that Tupac's sound was just like
I think Tupac was more important. I think, you know, like he made a lot of music that like really like stands the test of time as far as like his message.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, Biggie was more just like street shit. But as far as like listenability, I mean, like I slap Biggie all the time, and I get you. Like I'm not listening to Pac as much as Biggie, but
yeah. But they arrested that guy.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
R.I.P. Tupac.
Yeah. So we're gonna be launching our own investigation into the death of Biggie. I think it's time.
Yeah. I mean, we saw our local colleague Chris Lambert have a lot of success investigating the death of Kristen Smart, and he more or less solved that crime. So like we're thinking like, why not us? Why don't we take that local ability to solve murders, solve these cold cases, and we're gonna start looking into the death of Biggie. And you know what? I mean, I can't make any promises, but I think that it's, you know, we've got the potential to really shed some light into what happened to.
And then
Biggie.
we could make this area the place where you know, independent investigators make podcasts that break through and make things happen in real life. It's like,
you know, like a music scene, like one band starts, you know, sparking all these other local music bands. But that's nothing. That's just a band from nowhere.
But then once 2 bands make it, then like that's where the punk
scene's from. It's like the punk scene. And then all of a sudden, you know, like everybody's going to be wanting to come here so that they can start up their own podcasts where they're investigating murders. But it's like, no, you're not from here. You're a poser.
You got to get ahead of the wave.
A bunch of posers.
Yeah. So we're going to get ahead of the wave, and we're going to make our podcast investigating Biggie's death. We're going to go talk to, we're going to interview
Puff Daddy for sure.
Yeah, we're going to interview Puff Daddy. We're going to interview, who is it?
Suge Knight.
Kristen Stewart's mom. Was she in the podcast?
Kristen Stewart's mom? Kristen Smart's mom?
No.
Kristen Stewart from Twilight.
Stewart from Twilight.
I don't know.
Was her mom in Chris Lambert's podcast?
Kristen Stewart from Twilight?
Yeah.
No.
No? Was Kristen Smart's mom?
I mean, really, it was just Chris Lambert in the podcast.
But he went to some lady's house.
He talked to the Smart family, like he's like close friends with the Smart family. Yeah, and
he went to the house and he like recorded a thing there.
Maybe
in one of the episodes.
Maybe
I thought it was Kristen Smart's mom.
I mean, like we would try to go have a talk with Valletta Wallace, Biggie's mother, but she's already passed. So like we might have to track down one of his children. He's got a couple of children. Maybe we'll get them on the pod.
Yeah, and that'd be cool to like cold call their work, find out where they work, and just like call them.
Well, I mean, like their father is a.
You don't think they work?
No, they don't have to work a day in their lives.
Well, no, it's like they don't work because they have to. They work because what are they going to do with themselves?
I think actually, no, not long ago, I saw Biggie's son on Sway in the Morning, and he's like trying to be a rapper, but he's not doing it. He kind of looks like Biggie, but no, his like rapping was like really cringe.
Yikes. Yeah. Well, good. Because he doesn't need to follow his dad's footsteps.
We're going to figure this thing out, and we're going to bring you some answers. They may not be the answers that you want to hear, or even the answers that are correct, but we're going to
bring them, and we're going to tell you who killed Biggie. Who shot, right?
Who shot you?
Who shot you?
That should be the name of the podcast.
Yeah. Well,
who shot you?
The Biggie made "Who Shot You," right?
Yeah.
About Tupac.
No, it was not
Biggie
about.
Got shot.
It was that song was made before Tupac got shot. It's just a common misconception.
No, but it was when Tupac had gotten shot at, but he didn't get shot to death. It wasn't the Vegas shooting.
No, like even before that, "Who Shot You" had supposedly already been recorded long before Tupac got shot that first time.
Oh, really?
He was coming out of the recording studio, and that's why he Yeah.
It was just serendipitous, and he was like, man, I'm going to drop
Supposedly. And you know what? I mean...
Well, that sounds like some shit you would say to, like, not incriminate yourself. But, I don't know. That is actually great because it's a Biggie song, but it's about who shot Biggie.
About him, yeah. Who shot you, Biggie?
Flip it back on him. Who shot you?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, yeah.
And obviously. Then LL Cool J had a song called "I Shot You."
LL Cool J from Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah, but the rapper LL Cool J also.
There's two LL Cool J's?
He made a song called "I Shot You," which is like it's a similar sounding song. And I mean, we'll have to look into that because I mean he could have been talking about that.
Okay.
It could have been a direct response, and he's just coming out and just like Keefy D was out in the open with it for years. Like, hey, I shot you, Biggie. Like, what?
That would be cool to sample Who Shot You and I Shot You and then mix them together into a theme song.
You might be able to because the beats are pretty similar.
Yeah. So well, all we got to do is just record this thing now. It made itself. It's all done. We got the branding and everything.
We're gonna run with LL Cool J being the killer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He was around, right?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, he was hella around.
He supposedly the reason why he made "I Shot You" was because he was there when Biggie recorded "Who Shot You" in that studio session, and I want to say that maybe LL Cool J was supposed to be on the song or had some sort of like notion that he was going to be on that song or something like that.
Yeah. But
something rubbed him the wrong way in or maybe he was there in that studio session and he hears Biggie like rapping and like he thinks he's talking about him or whatever. So he made the response song, "I Shot You."
Yeah, well then fucking obviously because didn't this guy Keefy D, didn't he admitted to
I'm pretty sure
Tupac.
"I Shot You" came out long before Biggie died.
Well, no, but it's showing premeditation.
Yeah. I mean, like it could have been him writing, in the past tense or whatever. Or
in the future tense?
Future tense, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. But also, I mean, we don't need to really come up with the whole ins and outs yet because we want to keep it no spoilers. Maybe it's LL Cool J.
And I mean, we're gonna have to get in touch with LAPD and kind of get them to like do some work for us, kind of like Lambert did with the sheriff's department here. We're gonna have to reach out to them. LAPD notoriously corrupt, so that could be like a whole rough swerve in itself. So I mean, it's gonna.
And then we also have to get in touch with LLPD, which is LL Cool J's sister. Because I think that they notoriously have beef. So we'll be able to get her to spill the beans about LL Cool J.
Yeah.
Tell us all the dirt.
Mm-hmm.
So LLPD, LAPD, the LVPD, because they're the ones that arrested the Tupac killer.
Yeah.
And
Chris Lambert.
We're going to talk to him. That would be funny to have a segment of our podcast be us calling Chris Lambert, cold calling him and asking him for advice on how to make even though he just held that summit or whatever, that presentation on how to make a podcast.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like that's how to make a podcast.
We want to know how to make your podcast.
How to solve a murder.
How to solve a murder with a podcast like you did.
Yeah.
What do we do? Give us the step-by-step guide.
I mean, there's only one of him. There's two of us. So I feel like we already have like twice as many resources as Lambert did.
And we could ask for details that aren't important or like pertinent anymore. Like we'd be like, remember you went in the early morning and you watched the truck get delivered from the police department? Like, where was that? And he's like, what does that have to do with Biggie? It's like, well, we want to do everything that you did. Yeah. We want to go talk to Kristen Smart's mom. We want to talk to Kristen Stewart's mom.
Now, this is just a wild theory, okay? Like, don't put too much stock into this yet, okay?
Oh.
Promise me you won't.
I promise.
But, like, Kristen Smart was killed in, like, 1996 by Paul Flores.
Uh-huh.
Biggie was killed in 97. I mean, Paul Flores, he's been attached to other crimes.
Are you saying we have a serial killer?
I'm saying
possibly
that we can't completely rule out Paul Flores as a suspect.
Damn, I like that because then we could really piggyback on the Your Own Backyard thing.
Yeah, it could be like a sequel, like a direct sequel.
We're from the same area involving the same guy.
We could pitch it as a spin-off.
Spin-off,
like an unauthorized spin-off.
Unauthorized spin-off. Yeah, that's perfect. Fuck, I'm excited. All right, let's make a dream board for this thing.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Natural Habitat Recordings.